Absalom lived in Jerusalem 2 years, but the king's face he did not see. And Absalom sent to Joab in order to send him to the king, but he did not want to come to him. And he sent still a second time, but he did not want to come. And he said to his servants, "See Joab's field next to mine, in which he has barley. Go set it on fire." And Absalom's servants set fire to the field. And Joab rose and came to Absalom's house and said to him, "Why did your servant set fire to the field that belongs to me?" Let's just stop here for a moment. In these lectures, we haven't really focused on Joab. Joab is an extremely treacherous character. If there's one rule in all of 1st and 2nd Samuel, the rule is really simple. Do not cross Joab in any way, shape, or form. He will kill you. If you are in any way a rival or a threat to Joab, he will kill you. So you look at what Absalom does. Absalom is a man who really has no fear, or perhaps he's desperate, gone for 3 years, in the city for 2 years, and David won't even speak to him? A son who's killed another. Resolve something, anything. Tell him he's forgiven, punish him, take away land, do something, anything. Instead, David completely ignores him. It's no political strategy to ignore Absalom. And it's certainly no parental strategy. There's been a wrong done here. No matter how much David is implicated in the wrong, something needs to be done. Absalom pushed so far as to burn down Joab's fields. Those are fields you don't want to burn down. And Absalom does it nonetheless. An act really of desperation. He says, "It would be better for me were I still there. Now let me see the face of the king. And if there be guilt in me, let him put me to death." Absalom wants justice. He doesn't care which way the justice goes. Give me justice. And this should make sense to us, because when his sister was raped, where was the justice? Nothing was done. Absalom took it into his own hands. And this is going to be an important detail here, this idea of wanting justice. Absalom saying, if he wants to put me to death, that's fine. Let's just have some sort of resolution here. And of course, for David, putting his own son to death, that's no resolution. How can that be a resolution, since you're kind of implicated in what he's done? This is what I mean. David as either king or father or both. He's just ensnared in all of this. And Joab came to the king and told him. And he called to Absalom. And he came to the king and bowed down to him, his face to the ground before the king. And this is the detail. And the king kissed Absalom. And just notice what's going on here. The king kissed Absalom, not David, his father, not even David, not even King David, not King David, his father. This very impersonal, the king kissed him. This is the royal kiss. This is, fine, you're off the hook, but this is not the justice that Absalom's looking for. There's nothing here. And you can see how this is going to bear political fruit. Chapter 15, verse 1. And it happened thereafter that Absalom made himself a chariot with horses and 50 men running before him. And Absalom would rise early in the morning and stand by the gate of the road. This is the most important place in the city. And so to every man who had a suit to appear in judgment before the king, Absalom would call and say, "From what town are you?" And he would say, "From one of the tribes of Israel is your servant." Absalom would say to him, "See, your words are good and right, but you have no one to listen to you from the king." And Absalom would say, "Would that I were made judge in the land. And to me every man would come who had a suit in justice, and I would declare in his favor." Notice what that line is. To every man I would do this. But to every man who has suit, because of course every man's going to have a suit against every man. But Absalom doesn't care. He realizes that there is something ineffectual, at least in the way in which people see David. And we have to go back a long way. Remember how resolute David had been. Scrapper David. In the hills David. Avoiding Saul David. Playing mad David. And now what do you see? A David who does nothing. He gives his son a kiss and that's it. Absalom taps into this. And now what's Absalom's call to the people? I will bring justice. And this is going to be the seeds of revolt. Absalom saying, I would bring justice. And so when a man would draw near to bow down to him, he would reach out his hand and take hold of him and kiss him. And Absalom would act in this fashion to all the Israelites who appeared in judgment before the king. And Absalom, here's your detail, stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And there's your heart imagery.